get started. And all right, so this is Mr. Enicle here with another Science Alumni Day 21 interview. This time we're with Leia Faru. And Leia, why don't you give us a 1-minute summary of graduation from high school to where you are right now?
Okay, so I graduated from Norwin in 2020. I am now at Robert Morris University as a mechanical engineering and biomedical engineering double major. I am also the vice president of the classes 24 here and a member of the Honors College.
Oh, so every class has their own set of officers there?
Yeah, so each class has a president and a vice president. And I was elected as the vice president last spring.
Do you stay vice president for the entire time, or is it year by year?
Yeah.
The whole time? Yeah. So you're vice president for life?
Yeah.
You will always be. Well, that's exciting. Congratulations. That's exciting. That's excellent.
Thank you.
So our focus of discussion is going to be part of one of the things you just talked about, the idea that you're double majoring, which I would imagine sounds very intimidating to lots of people. We'll talk about what that means. And then the hope is, if we have some time left at the end, to talk a little bit more. One of the reasons you were able to get that double major underway is because of connections you had with your professors. So we'll talk about the value of developing good connections with your professors as well, which can also be intimidating. Where were you initially, and how did you end up with a double major?
So I initially was mechanical engineering, but after my fall semester and taking chemistry 1, I really wanted to explore my options to possibly go into something along the chemistry line. So that left my options of doing a chemistry minor or doing biomedical engineering as a double major. And whenever I looked through it all, I really was leaning towards the biomedical side. And it worked out that it was only 4 extra classes. So chemistry 2, anatomy 1, biomedical engineering principles, and then biomechanics. And so I only had the option for 2 electives already as a mechanical engineering major. And because of all of the credits I transferred from Norwin that I took through the college and high school courses, I could fit in the remaining classes because 3 of them didn't fit in with my electives while 1 of them did.
Well, there we go. So let's now it's like a legit double major. So yeah, but there's enough overlap between the majors that you didn't really need to. I mean, it's about 1 semester worth, 4 classes is really about a semester worth of classes, basically. So that's exciting.
And it was, let's see here. Yeah, it was about 15 credits. So all right. 14, 15.
I mean, that's still a significant, that's a significant amount of courses, but not as much as you thought looking into the double major. And so just let's emphasize one thing you said real quick, that college and high school program, had you not taken advantage of that in high school, you wouldn't be able to do what you're doing right now, basically, or it'd be a lot harder.
So if I did that, if I didn't transfer any of my credits over, I would have been starting out in a lower math for one thing. So I'm actually ahead in the math section right now because I did the AP Calc course and got those credits transferred. But because of all the credits, it would have been harder for me to do a double major or even to declare a minor if I didn't do that. It would have been choosing between honors college and a minor if I didn't want to either do classes over the summer or have another semester.
And then that brings up a good point too, in terms of when you're in an engineering program, those programs are often pretty regimented, and you don't get a lot of flexibility in terms of the number of electives because there's just so many required courses you need to take. So that's something that people may want to think about going into it. That engineering degrees are, you pretty much have every semester laid out exactly what you're going to do. So the fact that you were able to get that flexibility, it's a tough one from that way. So I only had 2 electives. The most electives that any engineering major gets here is I think 3. Now that's is that over the course of all 4 years? Yes, so over the course of all 4 years, 3 electives, and they have to be engineering specific
ones.
Oh,
Like
so
you're
you
given a
can't,
list.
you can't take like
You're given a
Japanese
list of
poetry or something like that.
no. You're given a list of like
Ah,
6 to 8 classes that you are allowed to take to qualify as
that
an elective.
doesn't seem in the spirit of electives to me, Leah. That seems like they're just making you take other required courses. We'll need to
You have
talk
a
to Robert.
choice.
Yeah, you have your choice of other courses. All right, well, that's fine. So, so in terms of double majoring, so your double major again is you're mechanical engineering, and then so you're going to be biomedical engineering as well. So why do you think that? Why would you want to? What advantages does it give you to declare a double major like that?
So for me, I figured that it would be nice to declare that type of double major because it really does expand like your options for a career path in the future. Like mechanical engineering is a very wide and spread out version of it in the first place, and you can get jobs in most fields with that major. And with biomedical, like it opens more of like the medical doors. Like at UPMC, they do 3D printing and 3D scanning of like organs and stuff like that to help figure out ways to go about a surgery to remove a tumor and stuff like that, which would be more on the biomedical side than mechanical. So it just really opens more doors, like if I wanted to do like prosthetics or anything like that, honestly.
All right. So you're not convinced that's where you want to go, but it just gives you options. It gives you more options. All
Yeah.
right, that's exciting. And again, just to review, you have these options available to you now because you made some smart decisions in high school. You took advantage of some of the advanced course programs, so it makes these decisions a little easier. So and you probably didn't know when you were doing those decisions in high school that it would open up the doors like it has for you. So that's great that it's paying out for you like that. It's good to hear. So. And now you had mentioned before the video started that you're in the double major right now because you were in discussion with one of your professors. Your professors gave you some advice, and you followed that advice a little bit, and you ended up choosing to do the double major. What have you found to be the biggest differences? I mean, obviously you've made some connections because people are already giving you good advice. What would you think what's the biggest differences and challenges in making those kind of connections at the collegiate level compared to what kids might be used to here at Norwood?
So here, every professor has office hours at least 2 days a week. It's definitely very accessible to reach them in general through that. And honestly, most of my professors will have like just normal conversations with us before class even starts. Like for one of my classes, it's actually my physics 2 professor that I have this semester. Like 4 of us come in straight from anatomy, and we're all complaining about that course because we all don't know what's happening in it, and we're all engineering majors. And so he'll just come up to us and go, okay, what are you guys complaining about with anatomy this time? Like he'll just have like a random conversation with us, which I absolutely enjoy. And that's how almost all of my professors have been. And with the biomedical side, there's actually my chemistry professor that reached out to me about that because she thought that I was more along the lines of like a chemistry major, whenever that isn't even an option here. Like they don't have chemistry as a major, they don't have chemical engineering, which if they did have that, I definitely would have considered that instead of biomedical. But honestly, like even like getting involved in clubs also really helps you reach out with professors, which has definitely been hard since everything just finished opening up here. Like clubs started to have some in-person events in the spring. And honestly, if it wasn't for one of the clubs that I reached out to through that, I wouldn't have had the opportunities I've had this semester already and over the summer.
Yeah, so the advice would be, take advantage of going beyond your coursework, because you just don't know, who's looking for new talents and, what sort of doors that's going to connect you to or who you're going to meet. I think the fancy word is networking, right? You're networking when you're doing all that stuff. So, and you don't know which way it's going to lead. Yeah, I ended up kind of stumbling into doing undergraduate research in Pitt's astronomy department for 2 summers. So it worked out really well for me too. So let me add one more thing. We'll say one more thing. So office hours. That's maybe a little bit different from what we're used to. So can you describe briefly what it means for a professor to have an office hour at like college?
So with each professor, they say, okay, we are going to be here on campus between these hours, these 2 days. Because at Robert Morris, all professors are required to have 2 days of at least, I think it's like 2 hours per week. And those days and hours don't change. But like some professors opt that, okay, we're going to have a very long office hour day on this day, and then we're going to have a shorter one later in the week.
My experience is that when I went to office hours back in the day, that it was usually just me and the professor. I mean, do you find that office hours are usually not very well attended, or?
It depends on the course for sure. Like I've seen a lot more people going into more of like if you're in the engineering program, like any of your SEMS teachers, which stands for the School of Engineering, Mathematics, and Science. It's like any of like your biology teachers, your chemistry professors, any of your engineering professors, like stuff like that, definitely get a lot more people coming into them than, let's say, like a history professor, just from what I've been able to see. But honestly, I don't think office hours are widely used either yet, just because they were still in the transition phase between, oh, are we online or are we in person for them?
And it just helps builds up that connection with the professor. I think the idea is you would agree, go there with questions. You're not just going there to talk. They have things they need to do too, but it doesn't hurt. They get to know you as a person. And I did have one course where I might have not done very well on the final when I was a undergraduate, but I'd been in the professor's office hours like every week asking questions, and he was basically like, "Yeah, Matt, you didn't do so good on the test, but I know you're a good kid." So he gave me a better grade. I'm not endorsing that that's going to happen for you if you go to office hours, but it's just they get to know you as a person, and they realize that they know what your strengths and weaknesses are, and they can tailor their advice more specifically to you. I find sometimes 10 minutes with the professor in an office hour is worth an hour of lecture time, just because they can tailor it right to what you need and stuff like that. So that is good. So making connections between your majors, making connections with your professors. Did I pull that one off? Is that a good? Did I stitch them together? That's good. That's excellent. Yeah. All right. Well, Leah, I absolutely appreciate some of the advice. I know you touched on topics that I think a lot of students in school right now would think would be intimidating. The idea of pulling off a double major and reaching out and talking to college professors. Both those seem like pretty scary ideas, but you say they're just ordinary, normal decisions that you make, just looking ahead, trying to see what works out best for you. So and so far, it looks like they have been working out good for you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I had 2 internships over the summer on campus. I went to a national conference and I presented research at an international conference this semester.
Wait. And you've been out for what? Just like this is your second year of college, right? And you've done all that stuff already. Oh, yeah.
That's what I mean. Make the connections.
Well, Leah, hey, we appreciate your time very, very much. I know it's coming up on finals for you, and we know your time is valuable, and all of our students appreciate that you want to share a little bit of your insights with us during this very, very busy time for you. So thanks again.
No problem. I appreciate doing this. I really enjoy doing it.
We enjoy having you too, Leah. All right. Have a great winter break.
Thank you. See ya.
All right.